Hello, this is ISBM Executive Director Ralph Oliva with an ISBM Topic Brief on the excellent article recently released by Jim Anderson, Jim Naras, and Mark Waters on TiebreakerSelling, how non-strategic pliers can help customers solve important problems. So why would you listen to this topic brief? Well, there are insights that are important for you in this article, which we strongly recommend you read if you're selling non-strategic offerings, not the offering that's the secret ingredient in a customer's product, but an offering that's important to the customer's product. And you find yourself in a competitive business-to-business situation where they're really among the competitive alternatives that your customer is considering. There's not much difference in the core offering or price. And if you want to win more of those kind of sales more profitably and efficiently, listen on. The insights in this topic brief come from a research study published in the March 2014 Harvard Business Review, work from ISBM Fellow Dr. James Anderson of Kellogg, ISBM Fellow Dr. James Naras of Wake Forest, and Mark Waters, Professor of Management from Karlsruhe Institute of Technology in Germany. A good read. Now, these three researchers provide insights from a 3-year study of 46 B2B firms that are buying products and services not strategic to their firm's offerings, but important. And they're looking to identify suppliers who meet basic specifications at a competitive price. They winnow down the contenders, but then they ask the finalists for something more. And at this point, what our researchers have discovered that this request is often misunderstood. The customers in this situation are usually not looking for features that a competitor lacks, or they're not really looking for price concessions. They're looking for something different, something that Jim Anderson has coined the justifier. So what customers in this situation are looking for, or the justifier as coined by Jim Anderson, is an element of an offering that would make a noteworthy difference to the customer's business, whose value would be self-evident to the customer. It's a reason to buy from one supplier over another. It's a tiebreaker. It's something that justifies to the purchaser a reason to go with one supplier over another in a situation where the other differences between the suppliers are minimal. Minimum difference in price, minimum difference in offering. Here you're moving to the right brain side of the equation, and it's a chance to innovate in creating reasons to tip the buy in your favor. And also, powerfully, it helps the purchasing manager demonstrate their own contribution and how they're contributing to the firm, to their senior management. In the article, the authors discussed how you discover justifiers, and they involve systematically investigating what they have identified as 3 potential sources of ideas. How do customers actually use the offering? So, for example, Long Steel North America makes rebar, okay, and generally a non-differentiated product. They discovered by watching customers use the product that conventional rebar is packaged in ways that make it difficult to use on the front end. They just packaged it differently so that rebar was easier to use coming out of the package. Looking for opportunities to integrate offerings with those of other companies. For example, a GPS firm they studied went into ways that they could link the GPS data they were generating with other data that their customer firms were using in ways that enabled them to use other applications more efficiently and effectively. And then really getting into and listening and thinking to the customer's business priorities. Okay, I think they use an example from Bayer Crop Science, who are reducing inventory and logistics and increasing sustainability by changing packaging, and some minor alterations in packaging made a very big difference to certain customers. They also outlined how the search for justifiers in some situations can actually create whole new business opportunities in others. They studied a smaller firm, TLC Van Pickup Upfitters, that puts custom installations, shelving, and racks inside vans for business applications. Discovering that those take a beating and periodically needed service and support created a whole service business for TLC out of what was originally a justifier. UPS, working with a variety of small to mid-sized firms, recognized that they had valuable real estate that they could actually provide as a justifier in UPS customized express envelopes, where the envelope itself actually becomes a brand message for a firm. This turned into a whole new business for UPS. Now, the researchers warn that identifying fresh justifiers is a continuous process. By their very nature, at the outset, a justifier is some small thing that can be done that twists the dial in your favor so that a customer has the justification for buying from you over another firm. But by their nature, these are easy to be caught up with by competitors. Competitors can catch up. So to do this continuously, investing in the kind of thinking, new structures and processes and mindsets so that people are constantly looking for these little sort of things which could become big things later on is important. And the research demonstrates that firms that do this well, even if they're selling non-strategic offerings, can take on a special place in the mind of the customer with special brand strength, repeat purchase, lower cost of marketing, and other very important effects. So in a summary graphic in the article, they identify these two different B2B selling situations. And they differentiate that value selling, which we usually advocate, really plays when you have a highly differentiated offering that's a strategic part of the customer's buy. And the customer really, it's worth their while to investigate the offering's value, and they'll work with you to identify it. And if you quantify the value of the offering, you can win, even with a significant upside price premium. But in tiebreaker selling, you're really in a different space. And sometimes you move from value selling to tiebreaker selling as offerings get into a competitive category as it matures. Here, suppliers' core offerings are pretty much undifferentiated and not strategic to the buy, but important to the buy. The customer really doesn't have the time to invest to, extensively evaluate the offering's value. And usually this is where purchasing agents have a chance to be heroes or villains for their company. Give them a reason to be a hero. Give them a justifier. And even if the price premium, that you can get is not a very, very big one, what the research shows is that you can be on the high side of the price differential and develop lower cost of marketing if you become the firm that generates justifiers the fastest. So an article worth reading, Tiebreaker Selling, How Non-Strategic Suppliers Can Help Customers Solve Important Problems. The March 2014 Harvard Business Review. If you're looking for Harvard reprint, it's HBR reprint R1403G. This is ISBM Executive Director Ralph Oliva in telling all of you to be on the lookout for topic briefs from ISBM, short bursts of insight from ISBM researchers around the world.